Hello, this is Builder Elephant, and welcome back to another review of the LEGO Batman Movie minifigure series. Today, we will be taking a closer look at minifigure number 16, Catman. Thomas Reese Blake was a millionaire and world-famous hunter. After squandering his money away, he turned to a life of crime. He first appeared in the 1963 issue of Detective Comics number 311. He was part of the expanding list of campy Batman villains. He modeled himself after Catwoman and dressed in ancient African clothing to represent his own jungle cat hunter background. While stealing cat-themed artifacts and using cat gadgets lacked imagination, at least it was a female finally inspiring a male spin-off. This campy character faded away as Batman began to return to his darker stories. At this time, Thomas became an overweight loser, clinging to his old glory days. One day, he decided to pick himself up and regain his dignity. He lived with a pack of lions and learned the skills he needed to become an effective mercenary and strong leader. The leg is an original piece. Bright light orange was used for his spandex pants. We can see his larger reddish-brown boots at the bottom of the leg piece. As is the habit of comic book costumes, Catman had matching underwear worn on the outside of his costume. To create this fashionable underwear, LEGO colored his hip piece reddish-brown. Oddly enough, the reddish-brown minifigure utility belt is one of my favorite parts of this minifigure. The LEGO Batman movie included this new piece to the LEGO Parts catalog, and this is still the only figure to get it in a reddish-brown color. A brown belt is a common enough color that this particular piece is useful to have for custom minifigure work. The torso piece is where we can clearly see that this is Catman and not Wolverine or some alternate Batman costume. The bright light orange spandex suit with defined muscles could belong to a lot of heroes or villains, but the three jagged cat scratches down the chest are a perfect match to his comic book inspiration. I'm glad LEGO took the time to print the shoulder straps on the side in flat silver. This not only adds extra layers of detail to the printing, but also makes it a better match to the character's costume. Reddish-brown hand pieces were used to give him gloves. I was completely surprised that Catman's reddish-brown cape is also unique to this minifigure. I had thought such a common color for a common piece would have shown up at least a few times. This standard cape was made from the traditional starched fabric. I loved the headpiece for this minifigure. The stubbled beard looks great. This creates a rougher look for our villain and is a nice match to his darker comic book personality. The chiseled jaw shows us this is Thomas Reese Blake, who got himself in peak physical shape to become a top mercenary and not an overweight has-been. The straight-lined mouth lets us know he means business. The white headband is standard for minifigures who wear these hard masks. They look awkward on the head, but great under the cowl. Catman's mask is the standard open chin cowl used for many Batman minifigures. However, this is the only time LEGO has released this piece in a reddish-brown color. Catman's mask is very similar to Batman's, so it's no surprise that LEGO would use the same piece mold that they already had in their catalog. For his accessory, LEGO gave Catman his cat claws. These weapons were often used by Catman and are featured in many cover images of the character. Unfortunately for LEGO, I think this is a bit confusing for many LEGO collectors. Catman is a relatively obscure character who's not well known outside the DC comic fanbase. Catman's coloring is very similar to Marvel's Wolverine. By using the same claws used for the more famous Wolverine, fans couldn't help but notice the similarities and have a hard time differentiating them. My favorite characters in the LEGO Batman movie CMF series were the obscure villains who would probably never be featured in larger sets. Catman was one of those characters. LEGO made sure to include all those important details in his costume to make him instantly recognizable to DC comic fans. Plus, the unique reddish-brown cape and utility belt are extremely useful for custom minifigure work. Overall, this was a great minifigure to have in an ever-expanding roster of comic book characters.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe or check out some of our other videos. Until next time, let's keep building together.